Just one second. I'm waiting for my camera. Isn't working on Facebook. I might have too many Facebook tabs open.
I can't hear you now.
Oh. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I can. Sorry, I can hear you. I can't get my. I will go. I'm live in Twitch right now, and there's no one there, and that's totally fine. I'm about to restart this in Facebook because it. Yeah, you need to, if you can be in Twitch and Facebook, that would make it. That is optimal. And I tell you, like, after a week of this, just one of these, and you'll be like, the Kardashians earn their money. This shit's hard.
Dude, I feel confident in that just watching you do it, but yeah, I'm pretty.
I'm just saying, for real, it is tough. It is really tough. Especially that my kids were in here earlier and have taken all my things that handle the camera angle away, and I'm like, well, thanks. So not helpful. Oh my God.
Should I be in your page? Should I like go to where Coach MK is live? Should I just be in my like home area?
I'm going to try this again. So I'm trying to. It says it's accessing my camera.
Okay.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So now I'm looking at you in Twitch.
Okay. You can see me on Twitch, and you should be able to see me on Facebook in just a minute. Yay! Here we go. And there might not be anybody in here because it's the first one, and you never know. It's good with Coach MK. Yay.
You've got some questions in the Google form?
I do have some questions. I have 4 in the Google form, and then 3 others, and then some other things that I just wanted to chat about, which is good because I also have a 7-mile run I didn't get to do today. So I'm going to do that after this is done because my kids and I need a bit of a break from each other before we go any further. It was a very long morning, birthday party morning at a place called Boondocks.
All of them at the same time, the same birthday party?
Except Violet, she stayed home. All the others, because you can't invite one. You invite one Fleming, you get all of us. So like, but it just doesn't work when we leave one at home. Oh, we've got people now. Hi, sorry, I was just waiting. I'm like, well, there's no one here. We're going to chat. Are you excited? I'm excited. Let's see. So hopefully my assistant coach will be coming here in just a minute. And if you're on Twitch, hello. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Kate. Kate's here. Yay. Awesome. It takes a while for the number to populate at the bottom of the screen at Twitch. I see Colleen's here. Fantastic. Hopefully it'll give me the option. My assistant coach is here. We've just been chatting. She's not physically here, so I'm going to try to get her on the screen. And if all else fails technologically, and it might because hashtag beta testing, then I'll just, I've got her here on FaceTime, and I will just hold her up in front of you. But I'm super excited. This was, I feel like a very inspired choice on my part. And when I get it right, I like to pat myself on the back because, man, you've done some really great work this week. Like, I have just been so excited. The thing I would like, knowing that this has been in the back of my head and what I wanted this to be and what I wanted this company to become, it would require me to take a big step back for everything else to go forward. And there's just no one else better that I could have, like, called out and trusted this to than you. And I'm so glad that, you're excited and you're here and this is working. And it's all, I mean, in the first week where, hey, Carolyn, welcome here. In the first week of like crap falling apart, not in a huge way, but just like little things not working here and there. I hear some people can't get into their membership area, and I'm on that. But it is the web guy's anniversary weekend, and his 10-year anniversary weekend at that. So hopefully we'll have that resolved by the morning. If that's something is beyond my current capabilities. But it has been fun hanging out with the beta test. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for participating. Hey, Jennifer, welcome here. Everybody needs right now to go to Jennifer Wolf's Facebook, go to my Facebook page and donate to Jennifer Wolf. She is running the Boston Marathon. She is raising money for the Boston Public Libraries. please, please, please just throw like $10 or $20 her way. Anything helps and gets her. It's less money than she's going to have to pay, because I tell you what, anything that she doesn't raise, she's on the hook for. Let's help her out. You know, qualifying for Boston, people, it's gotten way, way harder to do. But I tell you what, fundraising, if you've ever had to fundraise like $200 or sell Girl Scout cookies and shit, that is terrible. Why would a person sign up for that? The same kind of person that would probably sign up for a marathon. To do that at the same time. What the F? God bless you, Jennifer. If I can send any love your way, I'm really going to try to do it this week just so we can hope close that quickly narrowing $350 gap. I think last time I looked at your page, it was you're $350 short. So, yay, there's that. Yay, you're welcome. Jennifer's also had a rough time, so if you've ever had a rough time and need a little bit of inspiration, I'm telling you, sending $5 or $10 her way might be the difference between whether or not she wants to get out of bed and do a couple more runs this week, or like not want to do that race at all. So you matter. Your participation matters. You are seen, and when you make other people feel seen, there is nothing better than that. So please, I beg you, go look at Jennifer's start with the link to her fundraising for Boston Public Libraries on my Facebook page. Yay! Welcome back to Ask the Coach. I miss you guys so much more than you could possibly know. Assistant Coach, are you in the Facebook group yet? I can't see you.
Okay. I thought I was, and then I accidentally navigated away.
It happens.
I'm in Twitch, though. I'm in Twitch.
You are in Twitch? Okay, I can't bring you on the screen in Twitch. I can only do that in Facebook. So here, we're just going to do it. So this is, with no further ado, I'm going to turn you up. We're going to FaceTime it. Yay! Technological capabilities. Sarah Axelrod is the official assistant coach of the Fitness Protection Program. And we're thrilled. She's been doing an amazing week in managing the Maintain beta. I'm just going to let her say hi and try to get the reflection off her face in both cameras.
Hi, everybody. I'm here. We'll get me on your screens in a less glary way next time, but I'm really happy to be here, and I'm so excited to answer your questions. Thank you so much, MK, for having me along for this. This is so exciting to me. I could not be more thrilled about the Fitness Protection Program and everything that we're doing and everything that we're going to be doing.
Me too. It's going to be epic. We've, every time I hit, and I've been hitting some roadblocks and thinking things through on the way, and so every time I have a eureka moment, Sarah is one of the two people that gets that immediate phone call. Oh my God, I had a thought. So bless her heart, I think a lot, and for better or worse.
So much good stuff that's going to happen. All of these thoughts, amazing things. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
It's going to be amazing. You know, but it's definitely going to be amazing, and it's not contingent upon a weather report, unlike the Boston Marathon, which is still looking to be like a great day. But yeah, I know, right? Yay, Sarah. I'm so excited. I couldn't be seeing all the nice words in Twitch going up for you, Sarah. People are excited. Sarah's wonderful. You know, it's like I recruited at Harvard. Just kidding. No, not at all. But I get to laugh about that. I just think it's
so lucky.
So lucky. I mean, this has got to be more fun than the jobs you could have. This has got to be more fun than the job you were trying to get when you were on tenure track.
Yeah. Save that for another broadcast.
For sure. Anyone working in, because you saw Mary Lachinsky. Congratulations to Mary. She got tenure at, not OSU.
Ohio.
It is at Ohio. I know she lives in the state of Ohio. I had the name of her school in my head, and it's gone now. Doesn't really matter. She got tenure. Congratulations to her. Yay for chemistry. Also, congratulations to Kim Gradberg, who ran her first half marathon today. Yay! Despite a really, really tough training cycle. Despite Ohio University Eastern. Mary Lachinsky got tenure at Ohio University Eastern, and we're really, really proud of that. I have her along. Yay! But we're also excited for Kim Gradberg, who ran her first half marathon today. Had a lot of setbacks during her training cycle. She's had chronic, pervasive shin splints going on for a really long time. She's done all the right things. She's still been in physical therapy. She's been doing all of the rehab, all of the exercises. She is one that has been doing everything right and really just couldn't get a break. So I was thrilled to watch her start. I was excited to track her along the course, and I was so thrilled when she finished. And I know you weren't thrilled, Kim, and that just makes me sad, and it makes me a little, the whole reason that it'll take the rest of my life to do it, but I want to get you guys away from this idea that faster is better. There's no pace that will ever make you happy. It is about you versus It's always going to be about you versus the distance, not about you versus the other people. It's only about you versus the other people if you're in the professional corral. The rest of us are literally running a different race. And that's like, why in the world would you piss in your own Cheerios? It would be weird if one of your kids did it to each other. You would cut that out. Why are you peeing in his foods? Don't do that. So don't do that in yours either. It makes no sense whatsoever. We can search for better. We can have goals. We can do epic shit without having to tear ourselves down every step of the way. Why would you do it? Okay, that's not the search for better. That is the definition of depression. Let's not do that to ourselves. Let's not do that to each other. Instead of looking back and saying, what could I do better next time, and feeling like you need to apologize for your performance ever, be like, I just ran my first half marathon despite a lot of hurdles. Yeah, I am tenacious AF. I did not stop once I started. I wanted to sit down, but I didn't do it. Give yourself credit for that. You versus the distance, you won. Don't take that away from you, and don't let anyone else do it either. I will happily educate those people in very profane and concrete terms. There you go. The next thing I want to talk about, Jordan Taluki. I don't think she's here right now, but hopefully she's off drinking because she's younger than most of us. One of my one-on-one clients was training for the Disney Star Wars half marathon weekend. We've been working for this for about 9 months. She too came to me chronically injured, things wrong with her knees, they moved around a lot. Like, we'd fix one part of her foot and the next part would give out. We'd fix a toe and another one would break. It was one thing after another, and we finally got everything straightened out. She had even though it's not about the PR, for her, she had never been able to like have a solid race or even have a decent run. She went out there after all this, had Disney Princess back in February, and then Mary just joined the stream, by the way. Mary, we just spent like 5 minutes celebrating you getting tenure. Yay, 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 yay! And now we're celebrating Jordan Taluki, one of my clients, who nailed a 28-minute record over her previous performance. Her performance being, she showed up and shuffled because she was in so much pain. This time she had a pain-free run start to finish and truly enjoyed a half marathon for the first time ever. The fact that it was her fastest ever was icing on the cake, but what made me happiest was her text directly to me. I love you more, Mary! Was Jordan's text directly to me saying, that is the first time I've run a half marathon all the way through without stopping with no pain. And that is huge. Amazing. You guys, it is huge. All right. I now am going to turn to start answering the questions. Sarah's still here. I can see her. You guys can't. Yay. Neener, neener, neener.
Hi.
This is our new assistant coach of the Fitness Protection Program for those of you that are just joining the stream. Sarah can see my screen. Y'all can't, and that's okay. What I'm going to do now, Sarah, is navigate away from Facebook. So anything happening in Facebook, you feel free to answer. I'm going to go to the questions that had been collecting.
Hooray.
Plug Jennifer Wolf. Check. Done. And move this to the side and twitch a little bit better. There you go. Whoops, and it's going to fall. I told you, technical difficulties. Technological. Two moms decided to get a Twitch channel. And amazing things happened.
I barged in the last 10 minutes, so I'm winning.
Hey, man, I mean, there's a time my husband, like, did not give an F that the door was open behind me and straight up changed clothes in the shadow. And I'm like trying to move my body, hoping, like, no one can notice it because no one said anything, and that was, yeah. He's not living that one down anytime soon, neither am I. He's like, why didn't you say anything? I'm like, why didn't you stop? It's pretty clear what I'm doing, and the door's open, dude. Come on. Anyway. Yay. So here we go. So Kate Walton, where is Kate Walton? It is down here. Her email. All right. So first I'm going to address a question from the unicorns from the unicorns before I move over to the nice list. Coach, John's uncle passed away, and he's leaving Thursday through Sunday for a work trip and to attend the Celebration of Life service. Really sorry for that, John. Amelia naturally has her first softball tournament, and Ava has swim, dance, play practice. I'm calling in all reinforcements to help, but it's difficult to see how I will find 5.5 uninterrupted hours on Friday or Saturday to do my long run. So here's my question. If I add up the total hours I'm to run between Friday and Saturday, would doing those hours in chunks over those 2 days be a decent plan B? Yes, it would. I know it's not ideal. Who cares? I presume the value of being those chunks being as long as possible, 2-3 hours. Yes. Any other guidance to make the best of this? I think I could do 2 hours early Friday, another 2-3 Friday afternoon, another 2-3 Saturday morning, depending on when the first game starts. That sounds terrible. This is why I'm buying my kids iPads and I'm not letting them have friends so that my life will be as uninterrupted as possible. That sounds terrible. Just kidding. But
Seriously.
But for real, that's a lot. You're amazing, Kate. Give yourself some credit for that. Sorry.
Yeah. Seriously. No, sorry. We're probably like off just by a second, but you're amazing for coming up with I can see what's happening in your head. I see the wheels are turning and you're looking for places to slot in the runs and you're calculating like how long of a stretch can you get, how long can you make it, and the fact that you're doing that is I just want you to give yourself a lot of credit for that because that's so much mental work.
So much mental work.
And you're just doing it like second nature. You're already solving the problem. You're solving for X, and whatever you get is going to be really good because you're so prepared already.
For me, as the coach, you guys have had enough. I'm sorry, as the person who wrote the training plan that she's using, rather, and this is just rule of thumb: cardiovascular or aerobic benefits, aerobic like mitochondria building, kind of taps out or like hits that law of diminishing returns 90 minutes after an easy effort workout begins. So the reason we do the long run, remember, and in the more advanced traditional plans, you'll have 2 of those each week. Those are to tap into a different energy system that we don't use very often at all. And so sparing you the details, if you were to do a 2-hour run and then turn around and do a 3-hour run and then 12 hours later do another 3-hour run, that's effectively running a Ragnar. And yes, that is going to get you ready for this event. Because what's going to be hardest, it's not about like the duration of the longest long run. It's about all that time on your feet adding up. It's about going out for another run when it's the last thing you want to do. Is keep going. As Kim Gradberg found out today, it's really, really hard to stay in a race when your mind is out and something's hurting and you're like, but I've started and I'm going to keep going and nothing feels good and it's not coming together. And spoiler alert, races never feel good. I've had 2 races I've ever run that felt mostly good, but there was still a lot of hell involved. So get rid of this idea of we're going to train the pain away. It doesn't happen. What we do is we get strong and we run smart. And that's exactly what you're going to do on race day, whether or not you have one unbroken, continuous 5.5-hour run, which I would argue physiologically you don't really need. Psychologically, you do. So there you go. What you propose sounds totally fine. Do the best you can. And don't look back and don't make it up and don't worry about it. How much will this impact the outcome? Go back to that spreadsheet I put together a few weeks ago. It might, if all other conditions hold, over the course of 50 effing miles and 24 hours, put you back by a few seconds. And that's assuming there's a 1-to-1 ratio between each minute I ask you to run and the event outcome. And I don't believe that exists. But that's beside the point. There you go. You are not blowing your race. Nothing is really going to be off course. But if you miss some of these games, man, coming home, that could blow some shit up. Unless we need to not have that balance in everything. You're going to get what you need if you do exactly as you suggested and grab 2 to 3 hour chunks whenever you can to get through the weekend. And once again, very, very sorry about John's uncle. It's never fun to lose a family member. Our hearts are with you. If there's a place where we can contribute to memorial, let us know. But do donate to Jennifer Wolf first. Yay, you guys. Cool. All right. Did that make sense, Sarah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that was... Kate, I'm with you. I'm thinking of you. I'm so impressed by everything that you've done and everything that you're doing. It's amazing. You're working so hard, and whatever you do this weekend, next weekend, you're gonna be you're gonna be so prepared.
So prepared. I mean, over prepared but not overtrained. That's right. My motto, and I live by it. Because the person that I was all excited about the other day on the Facebook page saying like one of the proudest moments. And that was Sarah. Sarah was like, I looked back was it March, and you ran 180 miles, right? You averaged 40 miles a week for the month of March, like, and didn't even know it, didn't feel it. You're just like, whatever.
I used to tap out at 3 days of running a week. Like, if I ran more than 3 days a week, things would start hurting, and I would say, oh, it's time to back off, and I had to back off. And I was like, okay, well, I guess this is fine. And and I'm just so far from that now in a way that I never thought I would be. And yeah, averaging 40 miles a week, and I'm not even training for anything.
It's a big deal. Yeah, and you didn't, and again, you didn't even notice it. It's not like 40 miles, not 40 hours, sorry, 40 hours a week is a full-time job. 40 miles, did I say that? So 40 miles a week is usually the peak of a lot of like the Hal Higdon beginner marathon plans.
And that's my first marathon.
Yeah. And I remember a lot of people when they run their first marathon and they hit that 40 mile per week mark and they're just like, all I'm doing is running and it's so many miles. Kate's running twice that, you guys. Oh my gosh.
She did. Right. Exactly.
Uncle Kent was surrounded by love and would love knowing people donated to her. He was a central. Oh, that's wonderful. All right, do it all. There you go. Donate to Jennifer Wolf for in memory of Uncle Kent to support the Boston Public Libraries and the all the good things, all the good things, all the good things. I love it. Love, love, love. Send it around. All right, so it's 5:22. I'm going to move Sarah to the side just for a little bit while I try to like churn through these questions because I know you guys don't want to be here longer than you have to, and Roz at some point is going to bust down that door and be like, but Mom! So I've got to sit her downstairs with mine, and, you know, Tristan, this is Tristan's first dry run, too. He doesn't know how hard it is to be like, hear Mommy talking, but not to me.
Exactly.
It sets them all off. Oh my
That's the thing that he's never had to deal with before.
Yeah.
If I'm not here, all is well. If I am here and I'm just not there,
There's no there, and when there's no Mom there, bad things happen. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to tilt this back just a little bit. All right, here we go. All right, so questions first from the nice list. Coach, I plan on wine glass for my marathon again this year. I'm going to use your incredible plan. Yes, I start training mid-May. The marathon is October 6th. I've been re-listening to your podcasts on SoundCloud. They're still up. Yay. This is not an A race, maybe a target race, but no specific time, except it would be super nice to beat my 6:03 last year when I had to walk a lot the last 6 miles. I've been HRT exclusively for close to a year, but not necessarily on a plan. I did the Princess Challenge at the end of February, but for fun. I stopped at just about all the characters. Yay! Then I went right into your amazing half plan, and we'll be doing the Helderberg half, which is a local point-to-point net downhill on a rail trail. I'm doing it with some work buddies and no pressure. I'm not a very competitive person. It has been a super long cutoff, which is important to me. I plan on wearing my heart rate monitor, which is a chest strap and doesn't bother me at all. I have not done an EAT, and you don't need to, but I did do an impromptu AK a few weeks ago and kept my heart rate under 150 for the first mile. I then let it go to 165 and 170s. The last mile I let it go and flew. By far my fastest mile. Yay, you! My heart rate got to 185. I got second in my age group, passed a lot of runners at the end, and was stupidly excited. That's amazing! To ask you a good plan for my half, I'm thinking we need to keep it under 140 or 155 for the first 5 miles. And then let it go up a bit every few miles. Then let it go at the end. Yeah, basically, that's all of, that's how you would execute any half marathon. The question really over time is, yay, in and out. Well, Gretchen, hopefully you saw the news, and but you already know the news that we've just introduced. Go back and watch the stream later, and you can see us introducing new assistant coach Sarah to the world. Yay, Sarah Axelrod. So yeah, generally speaking, like all of my race plans, all races ever, this is a process. What I talk about with heart rate training, the way I approach it, it's a glorified process, step by step, of learning to run by feel. Most people, I don't care how long you've been running, over the course of a training cycle, your body's going to change. That thing that feels familiar is going to feel less familiar as your confidence grows. But as your confidence grows and your strength and your ability, your confidence in knowing what to do on race day diminishes. And it's like a one for one. Like, as this goes up, that goes down. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to. And this is not a negotiation, 1983 Wall Street style, where you got to squeeze every drop out of that interaction in this arm wrestling. If there's anything left on the table, you screw it up. Like, we now know that model of negotiating is bullshit and terrible and doesn't lead to lasting returns. So why would you try to run your race the same way? Like, yeah, we want to do well, but if the best thing possible is, like, the best possible outcome is like a 236 and you run like a 238, that's hardly a failure. Not at all. Like, that's amazing. And you guys are looking for, I get everything or it was nothing. And that's a really, really, really tough place to reside. So the only way I have of assuring you that you will be okay for the distance no matter how long you're out there is with the generic heart rate guidelines that I gave you in those original sets of programs. If your heart rate's at 165 and you're running a half and you think it's going to take you 3 hours, if your heart rate's at 165 at mile 3, I can't promise you you're not going to have to walk. I just can't. So what the EATs generates is a line over time, which if ever I have people do it again, I'm going to make it a coloring book page where you do the math, it'll plot the points, connect the dots, and shade the area just like I had to do in my algebra class because nobody could afford graphing calculators. True story, still didn't know how to use one when I went to college. So we're going to do old school math, and all I'm going to say is like all you got to do is stay out of that area and you're probably okay. Because the way you guys look at it is wrong. I need to be doing this, right? It's like, no, you need to definitely not be doing that. And when you know what you definitely don't need to be doing with heart rate 165 mile 3, not a good idea and a half, terrible idea and a full, yay! Just stay below that red zone and anything you're doing is okay and you might be able to make up time later. What you can't do is make up energy later as you're running out of time. So what you just suggested sounds totally fine. Then let it go at the end. In preparation for marathon training, I'm going to journal, which I've never done. Very cool. Do I recommend a journal? I love Training Peaks, and I know I'm alone in this. Most people love training journals, and I have 2 or 3 Believe journals by my bed that are gorgeous and beautifully put together, and I've never once had time to open them because I live in a house with 4 kids under 7, and they draw on fucking everything that I love, including birthday party invitations, so I didn't remember that we had a party to go to today until yesterday when it was like, oh my God, somebody asked, you never RSVP'd, and I'm like, yeah, it's probably in Cheyenne's room turned into origami already, sorry. So with that in mind, like, journals, physical journals, don't stand a chance in my house. What I like, and have always liked, are keyword searches. They make me really happy. If there's like an odd phrase or odd combination of words that I can use, I can search for that phrase in my Training Peaks training logs. So in Training Peaks, if you get the premium prescription, which again to me is worth it, it costs money. It's like $100 a year, I think, and they have coupons every once in a while. No, I don't have one right now. Use the Google. But if you go into Training Peaks and use the post-activity comments, get really religious about logging it after every single run. It's what I make my one-on-one clients do, and it's totally worth it. And I mean, even the inane stuff where it's like Sarah will log every single walk, and then she'll be like, there is a little pressure on the outside of my ankle, and then I realized it was an ant. But just in case it wasn't an ant, I want to remember this day. Right, so if like 3 weeks from now we find out that she has a spiral fracture in her ankle, it can be like, oh, ant day. Like that doesn't happen every week, and she goes and searches for the keyword ant. So that is not a literal example. She does log that way, but we've never had ant day. I made that up. But this is the level of granularity most of my clients get into, and it's one that I recommend because when I finally get you to go to a PT, and he asks, how long has your leg been hurting? And you say, like, a week, 3, you don't fucking know. You made it up. And you can go flipping through your journal, and you're still not really going to be sure. Whereas a quick key search through the web or through the app, you can do both if you want to do both. Those Believe training journals are fantastic, but nothing really replaces the convenience of having a 2 or 3 sentence rundown of every single run you do before you foam rolled, after it's complete the run, upload it, talk about it right then while it's still fresh on your mind. That was awful and I hate it. I don't care how, or like that workout was awful and I hate it. My foot hurt, my knee hurt, the sky's really great, it's hard to breathe, there's pollen in the air. I don't care what the comment is, make the comment and remember it, because when you look back a year from now and do this workout again, and you search by workout title, I do this, and I'm like, I felt really bad today, and that didn't feel good, and I feel like a bad runner, and I can go see the last time I did that workout, and I'm like, actually, I was 10 minutes faster, I went almost a full mile further, my heart rate was lower, and I felt worse. So it didn't feel like a good day, but it's better than the last time I did this. So that, to that effect, that is what I would do when it comes to journaling, and I would absolutely do it every day. So sorry to inundate you with questions. I'm super excited and love HRT. I love you. Me getting a second place medal. That's amazing, Colleen. Way to get a second place medal. That is so cool. I mean, how many of us get medals in our adult life? Mary, did you get an adult when you made, did you get an adult? Did you get a medal when you made tenure? Do you get to wear that in your regalia? I see. She's in Facebook and I can't see it. Okay. So there you go. You got a freaking medal, Colleen. That's amazing. Rachel. Hi, Coach MK. I'm excited for your new venture. Yay, yay, me too. Question for you. I'm doing 3 races between the beginning of May and June and need your help figuring out what to do in between. I've been doing your basic half plan, no tweaks, to prep for a hilly race because all 3 are hilly. I'm not looking to PR any of them. Just enjoy. I would hope you're not trying to PR a hilly half marathon in Maryland in May because humidity is a thing, and unless you have gills, it's going to be hard. So we've got the Frederick Half Marathon. This is the one I'm taking most seriously, but I'm fine with not killing myself. I would not want you to try to kill yourself. The best of whenever you've got races in a series, the best one to really care about is the last one. Because that, if you can manage to keep your cool together and then really blow it out on the last one, cool. Or the first one if you think that's not possible. So prepping is easy May 5th through May 18th. So here's what I recommend. The one that you're taking the most seriously, but you don't want to kill yourself, let's just see what you need to recover afterward. You will need at least 3.5 days. If you go out there and race it, the statistical probability that you will require less than 3.5 days to recover is infinitesimally small. Let's not hit the start line expecting to be an outlier because that's the sort of situation where, God's going to cut you down a little bit. Let's just not get there ever. So since you'll be tapering on the plan, that's going to be fine. Your question then is, what do I do for May 18th? For May 18th, I would just go, I would take as much time, so the 5th, and then you got the 6th and the 7th, and the 8th, and possibly the 9th off, right? So then you've got the 10th through the 18th, and you're just going to repeat the last week, or the final 7 or 8 days, leading up to the race. You're just going to repeat that over again. You don't need to pick up anything else. Like, you are absolutely ready going into that very next half. It might not be, the most gorgeousest, bestest half you've ever run because you're coming out of one that you care about, but you should be able to get through that unscathed. And if you need a full 7 days off and you feel like you can't run after you finish this first half marathon, again, that is fine. Take the full week off because we don't care about the other races. What we care about is getting through the rest of this year unscathed, and that is not going to happen if you go out there and say, hey, I feel good. I think I'm going to race this one really hard, and hit that second race still feeling some fatigue from the first race because you were too nervous to take a little extra time off rather than and listen to your body because you thought you needed to be moving. You don't need to be moving. You are ready. Okay. All you need to do is not get hurt. And especially if you're there for the scenery, like, just take it easy for the 5 days. Yep. And then pick up runs. Yep. Totally. Everything that you just suggested is exactly what I would do. So finally, Garden of the Gods 10 miler. You're coming to my neck of the woods? What? Oh my gosh. My only goal is to finish in the time limit. Garden of the Gods is effing hard. First of all, if you're coming here and you don't think you're going to see me, what the F, man? Tell me. Garden of the Gods is down in Colorado Springs. It's a terrific race. It's really gorgeous, and it is hard as show up with your camera, be ready to take selfies, be ready to take pictures, and do not worry about anything else because my elites go there just to get punched in the face, and it makes them take the rest of the summer seriously. I literally have people going there for that reason because it's easy to get complacent in a Colorado summer, and when they go do a really hard race with really, really fast people, it puts their head and their heart where it needs to be for us to get ready and keep working through the summer for a fall race. So you're coming up to do a workout that is generally called the Punisher. That's what we call the Garden of the Gods. It's gorgeous, but man, it's a punishing run. So yeah, what running at altitude is going to be like is terrible, and running this race at altitude is going to be terrible. So yeah, just do your easy effort run and do the repeat the week lead in the same way you would as for the previous race. So yay, have some fun, and because again, this is what really matters, right? You don't want to show up there. This race is not so important that if you show up, really race it, you're going to be disappointed with the time, and then you're going to be too tired to go hiking with your daughter afterwards, and then that's no fun whatsoever. Like, we've missed the point if we've done that. So go in there and enjoy it, but don't check yourself before you wreck yourself, because, you know, you don't want to miss hiking. Hiking here is really gorgeous and fun, especially if your kid is big enough that she can wipe her own butt when she goes in the woods. I look forward to that day. Yay! Glad to see you're continuing. I was never going to quit, you guys. I'm consistent and clear. I'm taking a big step back so I can then push forward once my son was wrapped up, and luckily he is. Yay! I'm looking forward to what you develop, especially the getting back in shape parts. When I was down and couldn't run for a few months, I had no idea how to start back up. It's hard, right? Because it's hard to find, like, everybody's like, oh, go do a Couch to 5K program. And it's like, no, man, I don't want to be in a room full of new runners. I just want to be with people like me that are not new to this, because it's just a different mindset. So, yeah, I got plans for you guys, and I can't wait to bring those out, too. Woo! Moving on. Yay! We got 4 questions left for making good time. We might get out before...
Do people well enough, do you think, if I like, jump in, or should I let you do the talking this time, and then we'll bring it up on the screen next time?
That's a good question. Susan, anyone that's still there, I've got 21 viewers. Can you guys hear Sarah when she speaks? I'm putting her next to the screen.
Yeah. Not, then I don't want to, like, I don't want this to just be terrible when it goes on YouTube. It's a little muffled but audible, Rebecca says. Thank you, Rebecca.
It's a little muffled but audible. Perfect. Susan.
Okay.
Susan, by the way, her husband got a job. Yay, Fred! And they bought WrestleMania TV. So nothing we do is ever going to impress Susan again. Ever. Because wrestling is on in her house. And I just think that's great.
All right, so it sounds like I should not talk too much because it's not super easy to hear. But if I think or anything, I'll tell you and you can say them.
That sounds really awesome. That sounds really good.
Comments on Twitch too.
You can always comment on Twitch.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. I do this on Facebook too, though, because I was hoping I could bring you. So I'm streaming in 2 places because Facebook usually lets me bring people on camera. And for some reason, I think I probably don't have enough followers on my Facebook page yet to make that happen. So whatever. I don't know why, but it didn't work. So it was a great idea in theory, but not in execution. So at some point we'll get this worked out, and we'll be doing co-streams for Ask the Coach. Or we'll be doing trade-offs too, so that she can have some Sunday nights off, and I can have some Sunday nights off, because God knows. The last 3 years when I say they were hard on my family, you know, it sounds very dramatic. Like, my marriage is fine. Alex isn't going anywhere, and I'm not going anywhere. But, I mean, he travels for work, so he wants me on Sunday nights, and that's understood. He's in Norway tonight, but he only travels internationally like 2 days out of the year. This is one of the 2. But, yeah, generally speaking, it was kind of hard. Like, there was so much of my time was eaten up. With a new structure and someone to split it with, I couldn't be more excited about all the stuff. That this has freed up so much time for us to, like, do and build more good stuff, more. Wait do you see the marathon plan? It's really good. Anyway, here are the burning questions from Maintain portion of Fitness Protection Program. Susan, I'm not sitting in front of Twitch because I have too much going on right here to cut it, but if we wanted to highlight it, this is the point where we would highlight it in the stream. So, I'm doing my next half on May the 5th, Coach MK. So, currently using monthlies to half plan with Maintain. Any changes that need to be made, since monthlies and Maintain aren't exactly the same? Nope. For now, keep working off that document, and it's going to be fine. A new document will be coming out, but it's not going to be very different. The presentation will be slightly different, and we're just going to say we're going to really be doing things my way. It's going to be great. But my way, again, is not massively different than what you're seeing, because I'm pretty sure with that said something that had a whole bunch of 1x1s. What you're going to see looks exactly what I tell people to do that have been like, I'm racing a 10K. And I'm like, well, here's your 10K stream, and I wrote it all out on the board downstairs. It's going to look a whole lot like that. You cannot ever go wrong with a 1x1 60, 45, 45, 30, 20 day off race. You can never go wrong with that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go back and find, we can go back and find it in the stream. I think we've got it, Susan, because she's amazing, thought to clip and highlight it somewhere. We've got it in my YouTube channel. We'll bring it out later. But yes, for now, go ahead and operate on the document you have. The document you'll be getting later isn't terribly different at all. But there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff later showing up in your membership accounts once I can figure out what's wrong with them. Yay. Question 2. Do you suggest sticking to the long run as written? Or if you've been running longer, okay to increase keeping heart rate at 140? Is it best to stick to the time on program and increase as I get into a fall marathon buildup? So what I really care about when it comes to the long run, people get really, there's a misunderstanding of what cardiac drift is. So cardiac drift is the notion that this came from really fit people, right? When a really fit person is doing one thing continuously over time, a process that we as coaches talk about is called aerobic decoupling. And so someone like Susan, by the way, and Kate, and my unicorns, everyone training for 3 days at the fair, these ladies are actual brick houses. It is insane. Susan, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I remember I took some screenshots after she ran Rocky Raccoon, and I'm like, okay, what I can see from this data is that you felt totally fine at mile 20. The work had not started kicking in for you yet. Your muscles were not tired. Maybe some joints were sore, but I can't really see that because it did not affect your motion at all. And that's aerobic decoupling. It's how good are you in hour 1 versus hour 2 versus the end of hour 3 versus the end of hour 4, etc. So a very well-trained person with a lot of experience and a lot of endurance, when we say someone that has a lot of endurance, it is exactly that. It means their aerobic decoupling figure is consistently less than 5% for 5 hours or more. And that is where you want to be as an ultra runner. And if you're looking at me going like, what the F is she talking about? Don't worry about it. What I'm telling you, what actually does matter is that you're getting the run done. And that's it. So if you drift a little bit, don't go crazy. If at the end of your run, if you're out there for 3 hours and your heart rate's at 160, the portion that was at 160, that was pretty hard, right? And it was hard when the run was getting harder. I would usually recommend starting your run a little bit earlier and then having those runs, like when you feel confident enough, you can start those runs a little bit later in the heat and the sun, because we're getting into summer, so your runs are going to be changing a lot. I ran 4 miles this morning, and look at me. I mean, it looks like I've been outside on the playa all day long. So to that effect, when it comes to cardiac drift, if I have someone like Susan is doing a run, like a 1 hour run on a Wednesday, Susan the Brick Shithouse, right, with the aerobic, hour 1 looks like hour 9, right? If she goes out and at the end of hour 1, her heart rate is drifting up at the same pace, I know something's wrong. That is cardiac drift. Otherwise, it is just, we are moving towards fitness. Okay? When I go out for my long runs, my heart rate at the end of it, I am slower at 140. You can see it's like a tick, 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 tick with pace, and that is just because I'm not as fit as I've been in the past right now, because I've been in bed for a year. Don't read into it. Don't make it a moral thing. But if it messes with your head, okay, give yourself a little bit of grace. Keep a steady pace and a steady effort. And when you feel yourself working harder, don't be afraid to slow down. But don't be a slave to that heart rate number either, okay? Because the last thing and I'm so careful about this because I don't want to be like, oh, do whatever you have to do to get through the run. It'll be okay. Because if you're doing that on one run, on one bad day, that grace on one bad day cannot categorically turn into a new training rule or permission to do that every day that is stressful. And that is what we really need to avoid. So every once in a while at the end of the long run, you want to pick it up just to be over with. Fine, keep it under 155 as much as you possibly can. Anything over 155, and you're over the age of 45, over the age of 35, you are definitely out of the aerobic zone. And you are burning sugar, and more sugar burning is not more better, okay? So that is how I feel about that. So if I were you, I would stick to the long run as written. If you've been feeling it longer and you need to make a few alterations just to keep your head in the game, that is totally okay. But because remember, right now we're not training. Once you get into the marathon cycle, we've got less wiggle room. But as long as you don't go totally like abandoning the long run and everything I say in the off season, you're pretty sweet. Who cares if you fudge a long run or two? I don't. And your training won't necessarily care either. But as we get closer to that 10-week race tune-up starting, you need to get a little more better about sticking to the rules, because it's an easy habit to be in control of things and cut here and there and do whatever you want. It is harder to get back into that submissive mindset you need to have to really do well in a training cycle. And I hate the word submissive, I do, but the training cycle has to rule if you're there for a performance. So, question 3, I have my first real event on June the 3rd, Niagara Women's Half. Do you want me changing up the long run? Yay, you! I'd say you don't have to. The one weakness of this, I guess I need to go back and add, do I need to go back to that Google form, you think, Sarah, and add a blank for people to give me their names? Or their first name?
I mean, yeah. If they,
probably make more sense.
They can say if they don't want you to say their name. I think I know who this is, but,
okay.
But I think this is Emma.
Okay, well, you guys tell me what you think. If you don't mind listening to this, because our idea was originally just to do like segments as we grow. I would categorize all of the questions in like a Google Doc, but since we had so few right now, it's me. It's Gretchen says it's me. We had so few questions that I was like not worried about us going over time. But as we grow and we start adding more people into the program, I could end up with 100 questions for Ask the Coach. I wanted to divide them up by category and then cut the stream, like limit the stream, like hard stop 60 minutes, and then cut it into categories. So let's say I cover 90 questions. There's no guarantee where your question would be, but if you know your question was about, I don't know, the long runs or half marathon buildup, you would know which segment to look into. I would try to make it as obvious as possible. But if you think we need to add names to that, beta testers, let me know. Again, this is a dry run. Things are always subject to change. So I have my first real event on June the 3rd. Do you want me changing up the long run? I don't really think you need to. You're ready for a half. You've been here. You just trained for a marathon. I think you're still training for a marathon. You've been running a lot, Gretchen. I'm not worried about you. You can bang out a half very easily. The only thing we need to mind as we train is, number one, if this is not your target race, if this is a half marathon you're doing on your way to a marathon, don't crush the marathon. That's it. If this is being done after your marathon, cool. We say your first real event. I'm assuming you're not doing a marathon. So we want to mind your knees, right? Your knee. Remember what was going on with your knees, and I'm speaking this Gretchen specifically because I remember that you had some chronic tendinopathy going on. You had tendons that were very, very lax in your knees, and we want to mind that because we don't want that coming back, making things worse, and needing more reinforcement in those knees. So we got to be judicious about the hard running we do and when we do it. I'm working on my new knee, and yes, it will be on my way to a fall marathon. It's my first real event with them both. All right, so here's rule number 1. Don't blow the knees out, Gretchen. That's it. This is not worth your knees. We save them for the fall marathon. Sorry, I thought you were doing a spring marathon too. So just show up and go have fun with it, and don't lose your mind. And the proof is always going to be in the longevity. And here's what I mean by that. There's no single race that will define you unless it's the last race you ever run. And let's just make sure that you don't go so hard on your body that this is the last race you ever run, because your surgeons are like, you're fired because I'm not fixing these knees again. Or your insurance company says you're fired. Think about what you need to get out of that race to feel good going into the fall. And that's not taking the chicken way out, and that is not like setting low expectations. That's being smart that's like the best example you can set for your kids. You know how many kids show up to college not really knowing what to major in? They're just thinking like, I'm really good. I'm a smart person. Smart people are good at math. I'm going to major in engineering. And they just go wandering into the smart people topics. I'm thinking with no regard to what they want or what they want to practice or what's going to put food on the table later. Like it's possible to be too much about like, well, I'm passionate about English literature. I'm passionate about health insurance and paying my rent, y'all. So my mortgage too. So all that aside, like what you need to focus on is like, what do I need to get out of this situation? Model that thinking to your children, and don't hesitate to do it for yourself. I am doing this because I need to do something on both my knees and feel strong. And you cannot put a time to that. I'm going to feel bad if I don't run faster than 2:30 is a terrible, terrible setup. And I had to look myself in the mirror and say that for New York City last year. This is going to be a slower than 5:30 marathon. You guys have heard me say, and this is not to denigrate that time, I'm just being honest with you about my previous times. That would have been my slowest marathon ever. And I have an audience of people watching me. Can I handle the slowest time ever, the least fit I've ever been, and explaining this and talking about it at the same time and keeping the attitude I encourage people to have? I don't think I can. I'm not sure I can, so I'm tapping out. And I decided not to do it because I wasn't, the thing I needed to get was to walk away feeling good instead of bad, and I didn't think I was going to because I have finished marathons not fully trained and not really being ready to be there, and I know what that feels like, and it's terrible. And I finished races feeling incredibly strong, hurting because I was fit enough to give everything that I had, and it felt amazing. And that's the feeling I want to have with every single race. You've got 2 knees. You might not be there yet. So let's take a little bit of time and think about mentally, what do I need to, physically, all you need to do is not blow up. Mentally, what do you need to get out of this event to be strong and confident as we turn towards the fall and things get hard and runs get long and everyone starts talking about paces, hopefully not in our group, but it's easy to get swept up right back into those same familiar mental patterns that I'm really hoping we can all break in fitness protection. Being there is badass. Being ready to YOLO a half marathon is badass. Being fit enough to be 10 weeks ready for a full marathon with minimum stress on your knee, that is badass AF, and we need to do whatever we can to not lose sight of that, because everything you do this year, you are doing for the first time on 2 brand new knees at a time when most people would have given up running to preserve their joints. No one is a bigger badass than you, Gretchen. No one at all. So that is a very long way of saying I don't really care what you want as long as it's decoupled from a finish time. Let's think about what that needs to look like, what you need to get, and then make damn sure that you get it. So there's no need to change up any of the long runs in between. What we need to do is not lose momentum going into the fall. Yay! This is why I love you too. I love you more. Sport. Amen. Amen. I really want to be come across and not hurting. That's it. Again, when you start putting time pressure on something, like I have to do, my coach is like, when are you going to race? When are you going to race? She's on me right now, and she's on her way to Boston. And I'm still working with the same woman, Tia Aceta of Tucson Roadrunners that I've been working with for the past couple years. And she was like, let's see what you got. And like this was about 2 months ago, and I was like, Tia, I got nothing. I got nothing. I don't have enough power to generate where my 5K effort should be. I don't have enough muscular strength to bang out a tempo run. I know what I'm lacking right now, and it's still everything. And she's like, yeah, but I'm not talking about what you lack. I'm talking about what you got. Let's go see what you've got. And I'm like, well, I'm scared to figure out what I've got when I know what I lack. And so this is the conversation we've been having now for 2 months, and this is why I have a coach, because I would cruise along and be doing like, I'm doing my easy effort runs. It's Monday. What do I want to do? Go Wild Monday. Oh yeah, it's Wednesday. I can go hard again. Go Wild Wednesday. And then go long Saturday. And that is the pattern that I have you guys doing, is what I would just do all the time. And she's like, I think I want you to start getting a little competitive with yourself again. I think it's time to relight that fire. So sometimes that is what I need from a coach, because otherwise I would just keep doing the same thing over and over and be totally fine with it and forget that, like, hey, I've been doing a lot of hard work for a year. Why not go do a race and see what you got? So I'm not quite sure when that's going to be yet, but I have a feeling it might be at 3 days at the fair. I'm going to be going. Yeah, I know. I'm starting. God help me. I couldn't find a half marathon that I wanted to do here because Garden of the Gods is the one that works in our schedule, and that race is so effing hard. I'm not going to Garden of the Gods to get beat up. We're with my elites, and I'm going to be humbled. It will not be in front of DJ. All right, DJ, like that, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to go do it in front of my unicorns. I'm going to impale myself on some unicorn horns. I'm doing the 12-hour race, so I can't, because it's my grad school reunion weekend. I'm going to sign up for the 12-hour race, sign up for the 9 p.m., and yeah, and thanks, Susan. And I'm going to be, as you guys are flagging, MK is going to show up at 9 p.m. and run a fast half marathon, because why the F not? Better than racing anything is better than Garden of the Gods. Garden of the Gods is gorgeous, by the way, and everyone should do it, but you don't ever go there giving an F about the time, because it is hard. So,
I was thinking 6 hours. I think 6 hours is enough for me.
Yeah. I'm not even doing that. I'm like, let's see if we can come close to 2 amazing, but I kind of don't care because it's going to be at the end of my grad school reunion weekend at night on a 1-mile paved loop in the middle of nowhere, New Jersey, because I love Susan and I have terrible judgment. So, as we all do. So that's some. So what I'm doing, but I'm very clear about what I need to get, and what she's hoping for is like, that gives me the flexibility to show up, run a fast half, and be like, done. To be like, you know what, I don't feel like being out here for a long time, and I got work to do, so I just run a fast 10K, and then sit down and glamp next to the Beth Prady's espresso machine for the next couple hours. So I see it as a 12-hour option to do whatever I want to do, and Coach Tia Very says it's a conversation that we can have for the next 8 weeks over what she thinks I need to go prove to myself before we get into the fall marathon training cycle. So I tell you all of those words to tell you this. The way I tell you to train is the same way that I train. If you read my Nuzzle newsletter today about what to look for in a coach from Athletics Weekly in the UK, it's a terrific article where the coach says, like, really, I'm just there to make sure people don't blow up, either mentally or physically. And I'm like, yay, me too. So all these things I tell you to do seem really counterintuitive because you've never truly been coached before. This is what the coaching process is. It's a conversation about who you are, where you want to go, and what the best path to get there is right now. And we can change this next week. That's fine too. That's literally why you have a coach. It is not a static thing that was not meant to change. Most professional athletes, by the way, they don't know what they're doing more than 7 days, 1 macro cycle in advance, ever. Talk about plan. I mean, think about people that want to, Coach MK, I got a plan. I got to know for October what my long run is going to look like so I can plan my calendar. I'm just like, Stephanie Bruce Rothstein didn't get to do that, but okay. Not that we have to train like she does, just saying. The level of what we're doing is really cool and really special. And getting them, if we're putting anxiety on it, we could be missing the forest through the weeds. Through the weeds, yeah. Through the weeds, through the trees, through little bitty weeds. Final question. Squishy ball is a new tool for me. Can you explain how it is beneficial? And a couple quick tips on proper use for him. It's hard. That's why it's beneficial. Hey, Sarah. See Sarah's face. I would love to see. Unicorns, anyone present in the room want to respond to the magical purposes and magical qualities of the squish ball? Susan, Susan, I'm talking to you. Yeah, it's hard. So what we're going for with the squish ball is we're removing stability. And when we remove, so it's, think about the reason I had you guys standing on a Bosu ball, either on the hard or the or the soft side, was that you're fighting for balance. Effectively, once we take that squish ball, we are doing the same thing. We're fighting for balance. Either we're putting it under our back and we're resisting the urge to rotate from side to side, which is going to work all these muscles in here. You have, like, you put the ball down, you press into the ball, and all of a sudden, instead of just working the TVA, you're working the obliques. You're working your lats. They're all talking to each other. So whenever you do stability work, when you do proprioceptive training, and that's what stability work is, be it on a Bosu ball or a squish ball, that is the value. It's the recruitment of other kinetic chains to support your balance, quite literally, so you don't go to one side or the other, or even worse, fall off and hit the ground as it relates to the Bosu. So squishy things are not going to go away. I have all sorts of different squish equipment. I'm not going to make y'all buy it. Remember, there was a long time when I didn't have any money and I would just fake it. I would take towels and fold them until I had them at the right size that it kind of mimicked what I was stepping on in the gym. I would go into my kitchen and I would take things like, frozen peas or those horrible, the gluten-free noodles that come in water packs that you're, the Japanese noodles. I would buy those and use them because, man, I'm telling you, you cannot, with all the force in the world, bust those packets open. Like, I would have to get the garden shears to open that shit. I have two of those in my fridge for 5 years. They're still in there, and I use them from time to time when the kids run off with my wobble pods. So I'm actually sitting on a wobble cushion right now, fighting for that stability. It works my back, and it's a good thing. So that is, you're not going to see less of the squish ball. It's a good, they're like $6, guys. This is not like a huge investment. You can go get one from Dollar Tree, and it's not going to be the same brand, but you can take any ball. If you have kids, you probably got a ball in your house. Deflate it by $0.25. Get it squishy, and you don't, this is not like this shouldn't be a big ask, but the benefits are gigantic and ginormous. So Here's a summary of MK strength circuits. They look like small, simple movements, and that is why you will curse and thank her all at once. I'm doomed. You're storing my ball. Yay! No, you're not doomed. I'm thinking like, Amy, I want to put you in Crunch Squish. That one was fun. If you go to the Fitness Protection Program's Instagram account, you can see some of the strength circuits I've had the unicorns doing over the past few months, and it's been fun, and that will be an ongoing place where I store the circuits. But and I will start doing them with you guys very soon when Violet starts school and I can be on a programming schedule. But between now and then, I know, right? Yay! I can't lie, I'm looking forward to it. I love her, but like, whew, it has been. I got stuff to do, you guys. It's exciting. I want to like think about and work for you all the time. So yeah, I'm going to leave the explanations in the membership area alone. Like, that's the only place I'm ever going to really talk through what I need you to get out of each move, unless you show up and ask me, and you're showing up in these places, forums, and asking me very specific questions at the assigned times, which will not be while I'm doing the moves. Okay, if you have a question about this, we'll make it really clear so that people can't just show up, ask me questions, not pay me, and be cool. Or if they decide to do that, it's possible, but I'm going to make you work twice as hard for it. Yay!
Hey.
That is a threat. You're destined for greatness. You are destined for greatness, Amy. Really great for Stay Hydrated Bot. Yeah, Stay Hydrated Bot is good. This is why I have to get these great big bottles.
I'm barely even talking, and I've drunk all my water.
This is full when I sat down this afternoon.
No joke, MK. What you do is really hard. MK, that's hard. Can you hear me like that? Really fucking hard.
But it's easy when you love people as much as I do.
I know.
Hopefully you guys all feel coached and loved and winning at life. It is, what time is it now? It's 6:03. We went right at an hour. Yay! If anybody else has any questions, any comments, I'm going to, yeah. Oh, now you can hear? Now you can hear, really? Turn Sarah sideways and point her at Susan.
Hard, really loudly.
It's the other fun thing about trying to figure out where your microphones are and when one end is speaking to the other. Yeah,
I even thought about this. I was like, well, I can hook up the good microphone, but then I won't be able to hear because it's only the microphone and not the,
And that's why when you've seen videos of people recording podcasts, that's why they have a microphone and they're wearing a headset. It's when they say they can't hear themselves.
Yeah.
That means there's no output. It's not a function of anything other than there's no audio output to hear how everything's coming together.
Yeah.
It's
at work. They're so nice. Not at home.
It's like I feel a lot more sympathy for Ashley Simpson and Saturday Night Live after the first time I had a big fumble recording this. I'm like, oh, when you can't hear yourself. That is the thing. I can't imagine. Anyway. So that's it. That's all the questions. Thank you very much for joining the first, Ask Away with Coach MK and now Coach Sarah. Yay! I'm so glad she's here. We're so glad you joined us.
It's so good to see everybody, and it's fun to be like looking at the chats and looking at MK and all the screens at the same time. We'll figure it out. We'll get this in really good shape in the next few weeks. Yay, beta testing.
Yay! Because some little things like, I'll just bring you on camera and you can say hi, don't work the one day you want them to. So thank you for being patient with us while we work all this out. I cannot wait. So glad you got to hop on. Thank you for being here, and yay for Sarah. So exciting. It is really exciting. It's exciting for you guys. It's exciting for us. Great things coming in 2019, you guys. We're turning it all around. 2020 is going to be even better. I can't wait to show you all the things we got cooking up, but that's all we have time for tonight. I've got to do a 7-mile run before bed. Yay, me. I know, right?
Better than me.
No, it's because, Carrie was like, I'm totally pulling the blind man whose mother just died card. Will you guide me in this race this morning? And I'm like, okay. But I'm fit enough to start doing 2-a-days, you guys. That is something. I will take it. Yay! Awesome. On that, you're coached, you're loved, you're winning at life. I will see you next week. And then the week after that, it'll probably be Coach Sarah. Be gentle when that happens, you guys. Yay. Yay. Bye, you guys. You were awesome.
Thank you.
Yay.
That was really fun.
It was super fun. And these always get better.